a couple of bits I can talk about though. I can do a little mini market update for RG2 if you want, and I want to talk about new builds being one of those.
We're live.
We are live.
We're live.
Good to know, though, Dan. Thanks for giving everyone the agenda for this evening. Oh dear, it's good. It's like at the top, me and Dan are in black, and below, Matt and Andy are in grey.
Yeah.
So it's a northern sector. Lead to Man United.
To do with anything, but there we go. Nonetheless, how is everyone? Matthew, how are you, dude?
Yeah, good. Yeah, really good. Yeah. Been a really busy couple of weeks actually. Lots of deals finally edging over the line, and people handing over their keys on completion, which is very rewarding. But yeah, no, really good. Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Good. Pleased to hear it. I think your stream is actually not connected, Matt. So I don't know if you want to attempt to connect yourself by dropping down the bottom and reconnecting your Facebook while we're live, but give it a whirl. Mr. Mead, I've seen you already today. I know you well. I know you're back from holiday. So just checking that nothing's changed in the last 2 hours, buddy.
No, all good. Bring me knee. No, all good. Thank you. Apart from a sore knee now. Just got back from the Hollybobs, which was lovely. Did a couple of deals whilst I was away on the continent in Europe. So does that make me an international salesman?
Yes, I would say so. I think if it was another certain type of agency, they would definitely say they're international billionaire salespeople. So quite happy to go with that if you want, mate.
Why not? Not a string to the bow. Good.
And Dan, looks like, are you growing the hair a little bit longer than usual at the moment?
I actually just had it cut, to be fair, so the complete opposite this morning, but I'll take that. Yeah. No, all good, very busy, how we love it. And to echo a bit what Matt said, really, we had lots of exchanges and completions sort of bottlenecking come through recently, which is good. They've been building up a little bit. Interestingly, I was chatting to a solicitor earlier on today. We're selling a house for a solicitor, which is quite cool. And she said that they've struggled throughout the summer because everyone's taken their holidays. So you've had different people picking up other people's work, and it's just made things go a bit slower. And it's probably what we've seen, but it's nice to see they're all starting to go through. It's just the next rush for Christmas now, isn't it? So,
well, the big C-bomb. Yeah, the big C-bomb.
He dropped it already. He dropped it in August.
Well, I think the key thing is that obviously the school holidays, people have nearly made it, nearly there. Who we got here? Someone saying hi to Dan. Is that some of your clients, Dan?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hello.
They're checking in. They're watching. But yeah, we've nearly made it through the school holidays, and kids go back in about a week and a half, something like that, 2 weeks. And I think we'll probably see quite an influx. I'm talking to quite a lot of people that are planning to put the house on the market when the kids do go back to school, and that's a very normal thing to happen at that point in the year. Typically for estate agents, for anyone watching out there, if you're buyers and you can't see anything, or sellers and you're thinking we can't upsize or downsize, there's nothing for us. Normally September alongside October are two of the busiest months for new listings as a sort of seasonal habit. So the last 2 years have been a little bit random, but I do think we're seeing some normality now, and I would expect to see quite an influx. In fact, this week we've definitely seen an uplift in valuations across the board. So yeah, if people are watching and they're worried that they can't find anywhere at the moment, I think there'll be some more variety coming between now and the end of the year. Matt, Wokinham's a very family orientated area. Have you got any people sort of earmarked in for September, October listings, or is it still sort of quiet? Is it busy? How are you finding it with new business coming on?
New business over the past probably 2 weeks has been a bit touch quieter based on valuation opportunities. The people that are looking to move are really like couples, people that have bought their house for the first time. They're looking to try and sell it for the first time. The family market hasn't quite been there for new listings coming on for the past 2 or 3 weeks. But saying that, I've had 2 or 3 calls today for people that I valued over the past 9-10 months that have said, we're probably ready to do something now. We'd quite like to be in by Christmas. So is it an opportunity to get started now? And I'm like, yeah, totally. I think there's a lot of people out there that first-time buyer market's been good over the August period, where people are quite keen to get something secured. But yeah, no, it's been pretty good. No, there's lots of people out there looking, but it's I expect September, like we all think, will be a busy month.
Yeah, I think we'll see that, and I think if people are on the market and sold before the end of September, they've got a fighting chance of getting in before Christmas. Solicitors normally kind of pull their fingers out around December, and if people are really down their throats, they will get the job done. But I think if people are listing towards the back end of September, I think they may struggle to get in before Christmas. But yeah, definitely in the next sort of 4, 5, 6 weeks, there's a good chance, isn't there, for sure?
Yeah, totally.
Dan, what about sort of prices? That's always the key question that people want to know. First half of the year, as we spoke about when we come on these live chats, bonkers, bananas, crazy, ballistic. It's been that market. A lot of people have said maybe since June, if we look up and down the country, that the market is slowing is a phrase that's used quite a lot. But how are you finding things on prices without using kind of random analogies? What are you finding on actual prices achieved?
So from our point of view, every house we're listing, or 9 out of 10, are still going at or over asking price, majority of the time over, and still being sold within 2 weeks. So I haven't seen that drop in prices, if there is such a thing that's happening. For me, I think they've held a line. I think there's still a demand there for properties, so they still will. To give you 2 live examples, we listed a property last week. It's a mid-range property, which I think is the most popular, between sort of 450 and 550. And we've had over 60 inquiries on it. So 60 red hot buyers that still want to buy. And I've got one that hasn't even gone live yet with 15 inquiries just through our socials. So the buyer and the demand is still there. I think prices for me, or for us personally in the area we're in, are still holding.
It's good. It's good to know. I mean, I don't think funny enough, I was talking to an agent today that operates in like the Yorkshire Dales, that sort of way, so up north, and more Andy's neck of the woods. And he basically said to me that they found the prices have slowed there. And I did say the good thing about the home counties is we're normally the first area to go up when things are rocketing, and we're normally the last area to go down. So that's one of the beauties of sort of working around here. We put some, I guess, headline clickbait in, if you like, and we apologise and put our hands up for it. 18% inflation. It was a report that I think was in the Telegraph. It was an article in one of the national newspapers that inflation could hit as high as 18%. And I guess the reason we put that in there is if you're watching and listening, we'd love to know your thoughts. How high do you think inflation will go? And what impact do you think that will have on the property market, if at all any? Andy, you have been around a little bit, fella. You've seen some market changes, some trends. You've seen it all, in fact, as you always tell me. What do you think, in your meaty crystal ball, will happen with prices over the next kind of 12 months?
Put me on the spot. Why not? I think prices will continue to stay as they are. And I think this market we're in now is the new normal. July was actually, for residential transactions, has been the busiest month of the year, which is something I struggled to believe until I read it again. It was 110,970 transactions in July, which is...
it felt like it.
Hey?
So it felt like it as well.
Yeah. So that was a 7.2% increase on transactions in June, and it's 6% higher than the 2019 average. So
Statman Mead.
Post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, yeah, Statman. I am Statman. But with regards to inflation, there's a lot of people talking about inflation and attributing it to the 70s, 1976, when we had the hottest summer of the year, when inflation got to 18.5%. Now, 76, I do remember that because I was at primary school, so you can guess my age then. I know that Dan was most probably nowhere near the earth.
Twinkling my dad's eye.
Yeah, Matt, I'm pretty sure would have been around and in secondary school. But yeah, there's a lot of parallels with 76 and now. Obviously, 76 we had the hottest summer on record, until this year. Inflation went up to, I think it's about 20%. Now, the interesting thing is, and this is what really made me open my eyes to this. It's not a stat. The reason that the inflation got to it was in 76 was blamed on oil prices, the major oil price. Currency speculators, you always talk about Bitcoin going on now and what have you, and I don't think you can really blame them. Greedy businessmen. So if you look at BP, the utility companies that are all raking it in, and union leaders. So that was all what caused the inflation rise in 76. Very, very close to where we're looking at now. And if you look at the train drivers, Royal Mail, whoever else wants, the bin men want to go and strike. All these union leaders are now getting on top of everything and trying to push the strikes. So that's having an effect on everything. And it's it's bizarre how you can look back at certain times of years and realise how close and parallel they are. But it might be 40 years ago, but very, very similar to where we are now. But we're still here. 40 years later, we're still here. So the world hasn't ended. Inflation went to 25%. We're still here.
This is very true. We are. And in fact, we are now here for those that weren't there before, like myself. Steve's on LinkedIn, and he's got an opinion on it, which is great. And if you're watching, we would love your opinion on things. He says, in my opinion, prices will level over the next few months, but stay at that level for a year or so, with a possible slight increase due to lack of stock. Buckle up. And I think, the buckle up phrase is around the cost of living. I think the thing that I think is really important to remember, and this is not to offend anyone at the scale that's not a buyer for next year, but I think although prices of fuel and things like that are going to skyrocket and have done, although petrol prices seem to be dropping now, the people that are looking to move home are people that can afford it. And it's uncomfortable to spend £800 rather than £200, but they can still afford it. It means one less holiday, less a year. It means not going out for lunch on a Saturday and doing a Sunday roast at the pub on the Sunday. It means buckling up a little bit, as Steve said, but it doesn't mean they won't move home. And the people that can't afford it, unfortunately, would be the people that were never planning to move anyway. So when you put it into link with what's going on with your house price, be it in Berkshire or Surrey or Hampshire or Buckinghamshire, I don't think it will have a drastic impact on the house price. That will still be very much dictated by supply and demand, and that will be dictated by what happens with interest rates. And interest rates are still, they're not too bad in comparison. You'd like them to be 1% like they were at the start of the year. Yeah, and it was a crazy market, wasn't it, Dan? It was really difficult to keep tabs on, but now it seems a little bit more comfortable to have a good take on what's happening for everyone.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing. What the chap just said there is that the supply and demand is still there, so that people are still buying, and I can't see that changing too much. Interestingly, though, I've got a stat, Andy Mead. I did a little check on RG2, it's obviously one of the main postcodes that me and myself and Neil operate in. There's 120 properties live right now, which actually sounds like quite a lot. 45% of them have been reduced in price. Now, that for me, though, that isn't the market dropping in price. That's where they've got it wrong to start with. So one thing I still say to people out there, if you're listing and want to sell, the market is there. There are people that want to buy. You just got to get it right in your first opportunity. So your first chance on the market, first 2 weeks are the most important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. I see Matt nodding as well. I think so many people have got a bit carried away, not greedy. I think it's more the agents have got a bit desperate for listings. As everyone said, it's a little bit slower this summer. A lot of people have gone away for the first time this summer since the pandemic, and rightly so. Go and enjoy it. But if you get that pricing wrong from the outset, Matt, it doesn't mean open house with 12 viewings and 6 offers. It probably means there's a bit of an issue there in terms of attracting a buyer if it's too drastically wrong. Are you finding that in Wokingham as well?
Yeah, certainly, because buyers are very aware of what houses should cost as well, because they do their research. They look at house price index, they look at Zoopla, they'll look at they'll look at the high end range and they'll know that those stats are based on relatively historic data, based on land registry completions, and they know what they want to spend. They do know, and they're also very acutely aware that they don't want to leverage themselves too highly because of interest rates the way that they are as well. So I think that it is so important to get that process right, and I think that's where we get it. I was having talked to a seller this morning. I went out to go and see someone this morning, and I was saying that getting the price right and imprinting what I put imprinting on Rightmove, that's your first opportunity. It's like when you meet someone for the first time. Do you have clean shoes? Do you not have clean shoes? They make an instant impression on you. You need to make sure that when you go online to Rightmove and Zoopla, it's at the right price. And the way in which, if you want to test the market, that's the social media element of it. Test the market with the social media side of it. See if there's an opportunity to get a little bit more by being a bit bullish on that. But as soon as you go live on a Rightmove and Zoopla, it's got to be at the right level, and you've got to try and make sure that you do it to best give the seller the right chance of selling the property. And like Dan mentioned earlier, like I don't quite get the levels that Dan gets, but certainly I get a good 2, 3, 4, 5 people each time I do a beat the portals or coming soon, or the video goes out where someone wants to come and have a look at the property even before. And that's a really good test and measure to understand if there's appetite for the buyer out there, for buyers out there at that level. And if it isn't, you readjust the price before you go online to make sure that you actually get it sold within a 2 or 3 week window, because we all know that we don't want our property to show it's been reduced, and your best time to get the highest prices in the first 2 to 3 weeks worth of marketing.
Yeah, I think Matt, I think you're right. And I think the key is to all these guys that are saying that the prices are coming down. Well, they are coming down because they were overpriced to start off with. Exactly right. Yeah, and they were never. I mean, I've just done a massive pricing report for a big scheme in London, and within half a mile of the site, I mean, this is an apartments. There was 191 apartments available, but only 73 were under offer. So that's 61.8% of the market is available. 38% is under offer. Now, the amount of those properties that were on with 2, 3, 4 agents was unbelievable. And it's just, the London market is just, it shouldn't be as sticky as it is. But because there's only 2 or 3 agents in the London market that I think have got, I can't say this, but I've got the kahunas to be honest with the owners to say, this is what your price should be. The others are just going around and say, yeah, give it to us, we'll sell it. Give it to us, we'll sell it. Giving false hope. And that's where the market's going to come down. It's not the market coming down. It's the estate agents bringing the market down because they've inflated the market more than what it should be.
One thing that I think is really important to raise for people watching is in September, there will be a bit of a bum fight with estate agents trying to attract properties to their portfolio. And what happens a lot in September is people get bought into the idea of going with an agent. They get caught into signing 4.5, 5 month contracts. And then they're caught that they can't change agent until January in the new year. And that happens quite a lot when you don't call for a couple of agents, or you just get caught in the whole motion of, oh, we're just going to go on the market. Yes, just sign it. Let's get it done. Really check your contracts. You know, is it sole selling? Is it sole agency? Do you want to go multi? Do you not want to go multi? How long is the contract length? Don't just sign an agent's contract just because you like the idea of moving, because you could end up sort of regretting that down the line. I think that's probably a fair point, Dan, because sometimes it is a flippant decision and it shouldn't be, should it?
No, not at all. And you really check it out and know what you're getting into. It's funny you say that. Actually, I've had 3 or 4 people recently call us saying that they're struggling to sell with their agent, not getting the interest levels they thought they'd had, and so on. Had a chat with myself, but it turns out they're tied down for 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 21 weeks. They can't actually get out of their contract, and they're sort of 5-6 weeks in with no viewings, so you know where it's going to go. It'll end up being reduced at some point and chasing the market, but they're stuck. And I won't talk for everyone on here because I know we all have our own setup, but myself and Neil do relatively short contracts because we're A, confident we're going to sell it because we give them the right advice, and B, if it hasn't sold by that point, we want to give people the option. If you want to go somewhere else, they can, but they won't want to because we're doing everything we said we'd do from the start. And I think all agents should be like that. Why tie somebody down? Don't need to. I'm going to deliver. So it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fair because of the way the market is at the moment. Andy has asked a question: Are new home developers still struggling with lead time and costs on materials? Is that still a big problem?
Yeah, cost of materials is a massive problem, and procurement of materials. So yeah, it is an issue. But I think what me and you spoke about today was obviously the customer journey, and it's so long as you're up front with the customer and you tell them what's going on, and you don't over-egg their expectations in terms of completion dates and what have you, you'll be fine. It's if you say to a customer, it's going to be August, it's definitely going to be August, and it's in June, and you're saying it's definitely going to be August, and then you get to July, yeah, it's going to be August, and then you get to August, and it's like, nah, it's not going to be August, it's going to be September. That's where the problems are. If you know in June that you haven't got a staircase or you haven't got a roof on, you ain't going to be moving in August. So just be upfront and honest and just have the conversation there and then. You know, it's not rocket science to say, look, I'm really sorry, but the doors that are coming from China, they're stuck in the Suez Canal. Nobody can do anything about it. We're going to have to move you back 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now, if we can do it beforehand, great. But no developer will want to rush a property to get somebody in to meet a deadline that they've given if it ain't going to be right. So you'd be better off waiting 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But give them the story at the outset.
Yeah, just set the expectation. If everyone could just turn their computer down a little bit, because I think there's an echo on someone's, if that's all right. Just turn the volume down just so it's not picking up double feed. The other question that I got, because we spoke about this last week when we were talking about incentives, and we kind of highlighted the fact that if worst case scenario, there was a nosedive in the property market, and I don't personally think that's going to happen, but if there was to be a nosedive, we do feel that the government would step in with a potential incentive out there, because there is none at the moment, and there's always been something, even if it was Help to Buy or key workers or whatever with just new homes. But now there's not really anything in play. Obviously no stamp duty holiday and stuff like that. We were talking about what may happen, or will there be a housing market incentive in 2023 to keep things going? Anyone got any thoughts on that, or any ideas, any creative ideas on something that might really help keep the housing market at a secure level and maybe help people do the upsize? Or any thoughts on that anyone's had? I mean, Andy, yours is probably easier with new homes, I would have thought. But Dan, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm not sure I can see them doing anything, personally. I just can't see what they're doing anything to do with it, because the market stayed pretty strong since. So I don't know if they're going to do any incentives. But could they change stamp duty? And well, abolishing it would be great, wouldn't it? But actually maybe removing that 3% surcharge for people buying an extra home, that would probably help the market start moving again. A lot of people doing, investment buyers or people looking to keep their current home and buying another one, because that's limited with the amount of money you pay extra. So they could get rid of that and maybe change some of the barriers on stamp duty to ease them. That could be something they could do. I
think the 3% stamp duty idea is a great shout, because there's not enough rental properties out there at the moment, and that's causing rents to increase drastically, which is making it really hard for tenants to find somewhere to move into. Not everyone wants to buy a home. Some people want to be renters for life, and that's totally fine. And it also means that the first-time buyers that are renting are paying £300, £400, £500 more than they would like to, because rental prices are so high. So if we flooded the market with a few more properties to rent, I think that would help. I think that probably is going to come in the way of big equity firms purchasing and doing build-to-rents that probably Andy would have more of a finger on, but we've seen that in some other countries, and I think that's probably what's going to be the generational thing to happen over the next decade, but it's probably another convo. Matt, any ideas on anything that you think may come in, or any good quirky ideas yourself?
I think that's a really difficult one to say, because I think they've brought in so many different initiatives over the last 10 years, with stamp duty change, Help to Buy, everything else that's come in. I mean, I think that the confidence in the market isn't necessarily, or a glimmer. Where am I trying to articulate this? I think with what you're trying to suggest, I think there's a bigger problem, I don't think it's about actually feeding the market with incentives to get people to buy, because I think there's still going to be confidence to do that, especially if they see consistency level prices staying at a certain level, feeling like they're not overpaying. I actually think it's a more considered approach across the whole of your wallet rather than just part of it. So certainly trying to keep a level on costs for fuel, costs for mortgages, costs for bits and pieces. So like I read an article a little while ago, and it was a guy that was filling up a car that he had rented over in Italy, and he filled it up to a certain level. Let's say it was 100 euros. Went up to go and pay 100 euros, ended up paying 80 because the Italian government, I hope that's right, Italian government had given them 20% off to help towards cost of living. So I think that suddenly you actually look at all of the initiatives across. I think money in people's back pockets is important. I think there's more money in people's back pockets, they feel more comfortable to spend. Yeah, I think if you're spending in every other discipline, like cost, fuel prices, mortgage interest rates going up, inflation inflating all of your household goods costs and bits and pieces, I think the growth in the market, in any market, will be, let's try and be a little bit more sensible as a more rounded figure rather than just concentrating on one area specifically.
So go to Italy, basically. Fill up your car in Italy.
Yeah, go to Italy.
It's an absolute win.
Hot there as well.
I've got a quirky idea, and I'm not saying there needs to be incentive, just to clarify. I'm just saying, if you talk about the doom and gloom that people are trying to talk us into, if that was to happen, how could the market get pulled back round? One thing that I thought about was, what if, and it would have to be at a certain loan to value. So let's say 80% loan to value, 75% and below. What if there was an opportunity for sellers and buyers to add the cost of stamp duty to the loan, to the mortgage? So if it's going to cost 25 grand in stamp duty tax to buy, sell your 3-bed, buy your 4-bed, you could add the 25 grand to your mortgage, as long as you've got the equity confidence in there to do it, so that you're not putting the cash out of your savings into it, you're just adding it to the loan. I think that would help more people move, especially in the middle of the market.
It's a great idea. Really good idea. Why can't they just do that anyway? It's just the government's still getting the money, aren't they? Lenders need to work out as long as it's affordable. It's a really good idea. We just sold a house today that someone's paying £56,000 worth of stamp duty on it. I mean, I'm sure they'd love to add that to a mortgage. It's a lot of cash, isn't it? So
the government still get the 56 grand. The bank gets the interest on the loan. You know, it's the cheapest loan you can borrow, and the client still has 56 grand in cash in their bank. Or if they wanted to do the move and they only had 30 grand in the bank, they couldn't do that move, but they could add to the loan and afford it, meaning they've still got 30 grand in the bank to furnish the property or do anything. It helps the middle of the market where the chunky stamp duty is.
Or they've got bigger deposits in as well, so they could get a better mortgage.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a thought. It's one thing that never heard before, never suggested before, but it seems like something that could be an option. Neil's checking in. Hello, Neil. What's on the bubble? Andy, did I ask you, Andy, or did Matt just go on about Italy?
Matt went off about Italy, I think.
Yeah, sorry, mate. What about yourself? In the new homes world, what do we reckon?
Well, it depends if you're in Spain or Italy or Gibraltar. That's really where the location is. But no, seriously, and this is just me. I haven't got to tap into Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. I think Help to Buy will be extended in the new year because it brings so much to the economy in terms of helping people get onto the property ladder. So I can't see that they can't offer an extension to it or something similar to it, because just pulling it out, I think October's the last applications can go in for end of March for completions. It's going to stop an awful lot of people buying, because Help to Buy, I think there's nigh on 400,000 people have benefited from Help to Buy, and that's helped the government as well. So don't forget to say it's not the government giving the money out. The government are making money out of that. So as well as to put the money into the economy. So I can't see that there won't be something similar or an extension to Help to Buy.
I wonder whether because key workers to the UK are celebrated in a way that they weren't before the pandemic, rightly or wrongly, they're celebrated at a whole new level now. And I wonder whether that's a way that the government build confidence in the country by offering the key workers Help to Buy like it was done at the first round. It was key workers only. It wasn't first-time buyers, was it? So I wonder if that's a way of bringing an applause to the government. They could potentially do that. But we don't know. We will see. Matt, what have you got on the bubble? Any little secret instructions you could tell us about? Anything bubbling in the next couple of weeks or month?
Yeah, so I've got a lovely house that's coming onto the market at £750,000. There's been a few sort of sneak peeks and videos that have gone out about that so far. I went to go and see a really lovely 2-bedroom house in the Key Patch development today. Quietly confident that's going to be coming to the market. So fingers crossed. Also got a call from someone I went to go and see last year that's got a beautiful 3-bedroom end of terrace in a newer build development in Wokingham, where I'm going out to go and see towards the end of next week as well to get live and get onto the market. So we need to re-look over values on that, but that should be coming to the market soon as well. So there's a nice few little nice juicy instructions coming on, which is good.
I've got a client desperate to move to walking distance of Wokingham, 550. Good downstairs space. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-bed upstairs. Let us know if you get anything.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dan, any little secret squirrels you can tell us about?
So watch our socials tomorrow. So you should have 2 Beat the Portals. We've got a 3-bed house in Arborfield coming on the market in the morning, and another 3-bed townhouse in Spencer's Wood. Also, a little story. I went to do the paperwork with them at the start of the week, and the chap there, his name's Shane, really nice guy, and he's got 3 boys. They play FIFA a lot at home in the lounge because they're off school. And I got my ass kicked at FIFA by them, so I've lost. I've got a 6-bedroom detached house in Sindlesham coming up. Should be between 750 and 800. It's beautiful. That'll be in the next couple of weeks as well. I think Neil's got 3 or 4. We tried to film this morning, but the weather's been a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
But yeah, over the next sort of 10 days, we'll have about 6 or 7 new properties coming to the market. And also today, the house in Sindlesham, the one for 1.25 million, has gone under offer. It's a beautiful house.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Amazing.
I won't get over there to do my TikTok video then.
Well, no, we'll still do it. I spoke to them. It's all good.
Love that. And yeah, just in terms of the new homes world, Andy, I think you've finished the site in High Wycombe you had now. That's all reserved, isn't it? 100%
Yes,
complete?
all reserved off plan. So over 20,000 views on the videos I did for it. So worked. So went really well. Sloughs all sold now, sold off plan. I think there's one more to go to complete. It's good. So there's plenty going on. I can't say too much. Obviously, the nature of the beast is a bit of a strange one. But if anybody has got any developments where they are struggling to sell, just drop me a line, because my marketing is so different and it makes a difference. So, I can sell properties when I'm in Spain. I can sell properties when I'm in Wokingham. Doesn't matter, because my marketing is different. Just give me a shout.
Love that. Nice way to finish off. Andy in Spain, selling new homes by the pool. Matt in Italy, getting discounts.
Filling his car up.
And Dan in living rooms, getting his ass kicked at FIFA.
Literally, yeah.
Love that. I was not filming this morning. I went for a run in the rain, which was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. And this is a nice way to finish up the conversation, gents. So absolutely loved it. If anyone is not aware, the Champions League draw just took place before we jumped on this live chat. If you're Liverpool fans, you've got Ajax. Where's it gone? You've got Ajax, Rangers in the Battle of Britain, all in the same group. If you're Tottenham, who have Tottenham got? They've got Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon and Marseille. So very much 4 average teams in that group. And if you're
very much, yeah.
If you're the mighty Chelsea, you've got AC Milan, Salzburg, and Zagreb. So we'll probably get
You're not
battered
going through, are you?
Who have Man United got?
Who have Leeds got?
Mate, we were never going to be in Europe. We don't aspire to be in Europe. The only place we get to Europe is when I go to Spain. That's the closest Leeds get to Europe at the moment.
Only Andy's in Europe selling new homes. Good stuff, chaps. Have a great rest of the week. Catch you all soon.
See you later on.